Stephen Johnson, you have just taken to this category like a fish to water, but geez, it must be so different to everything else you've driven.
Yeah, it is, Kylie. It's very different, but a hell of a lot of fun. And, you know, any of these sort of cars you've got to adapt to. And, you know, I'm just lucky enough that John, you know, in turn with Steve from Synergy, have got a really good balanced car here, and I'm able to just get in and drive it. Yeah,
a few challenges this time. Andrew Medicki, for one, he's going to be right on your hammer this time. Yeah,
absolutely. Andrew Medicki there. You got Cricky beside me, the Tassie hero, you know, so it's going to be a good fun race, and you know, hoping to bring this Wilson security car back to the front and hopefully clean sweep the weekend.
Yeah, go those classic hero cars, huh? You're enjoying it?
Absolutely, yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun, so.
Good luck.
There's Stephen Johnson ready to go. We are in the countdown to the big one here, 200 Ks, race 6. You've got a car starting out of P10 in that one?
Yes, I have. I was wondering where you were going with that. Bridie has really worked hard over the weekend to get his car up to speed. Fabian's really struggling. Both the last two practice sessions, he's qualified on his used set of tyres, not his green, so we're not getting the green tyre gain out of that car, so we need to do a bit of research and find out what's going on there. But, you know, I think it's a bit more open this afternoon. I think we got fast cars on race tyres, so we'll find out in a couple of hours.
Love this car in particular, the Brett Youlden driven HQ. They've got a great sticker on the boot actually, which shows all the history behind Brett and Kent and also Luke. Oh, right on cue, there we go. 100 years within the Youlden family of racing. We actually had one of the Youdens driving for you this weekend on Friday.
Yeah, we did. Luke jumped in the car. He's a fantastic bloke and a great co-driver for us, and he jumped in the car and had a couple of laps in very tricky conditions.
And he'll have some work to do, Brett, in this one. Out of the second row, and some very fast cars ahead of him, including Stephen Johnson, Greg Crick, Eddie Abel-Nisa, who's firming nicely in the championship after a couple of third placings yesterday. Cameron Tilley, back there in that beautiful Valiant Pacer. And Andrew Medicki, who's going to have a fire lit up him today, I think, after the dramas that he's been having this weekend. Paul Freestone's been in the thick of it as well.
Yeah, just getting back Medicki for a minute. He'll be trying to put as many points as possible between himself and John Bowe. So he would have been coming hoping to bank 3 wins. So it's not been a great weekend, but at least he's got a few points on the board.
Final points paying race this weekend. They do have a non-points race that'll be happening after the V8s for the local fans to enjoy. And here they come now towards the start line. That formidable rolling sound of big thumping engines from yesteryear. Can Stephen Johnson take out the Tasmanian Tourist Trophy with a perfect weekend? He's got a Tasmanian alongside him in Greg Crick, who's going to get that jump down towards turn 1. Green flag is out. Cricky hazes those rear tyres, and as a result, Mustang Sally will swing around him and back into the lead where he spent all day yesterday. Abel-Nisa takes 3rd. Youlden slots in for 4th, and oh, there's a bit of push and shove at the back. Kasulki ran up the back of Mark King. Now there's a big tailwind down here to watch out for on cold tyres as well. Oops, Tilley tap on the back of Medicki, who gets up the back of Youlden. Grabbing gears is the Valiant Pacer. He's got Gomasol up behind him. We know how quick that Tirana is in a straight line. And Jim Richards behind them. Richards yet to make up the spot since the start of this race. Frantic beginning to the race.
And Jimmy Richards is just a little off his game compared to where he normally is. Usually that, you know, in the Falcon, he was pressing towards the front of the field pretty hard. I think he's just taking a little bit of time to get on top of the Javelin.
Yeah, that's a pretty new deal, that one, as Medicki's up the inside. That's a good spot to make a move stick. Gets the Lubramax Camaro up now to 4th position.
Quite an unusual place to pass someone. I think Brett might have made a bit of a mistake to allow Medicki to get so far up the inside, running into 2 there.
These are all points that he badly needs right now. At the moment, he's been missing in action. He's back at 90 points, so he's going to go giving up the better part of 60-odd points to Eddie Abel-Nisa at this rate. And there goes Bullis, picking up a few spots. He's side by side nearly with Seaton. A couple of very different Mustangs. The Trans Am of Bullis, following the older style body for Glenn Seaton. Talking about the car, of course. He's still young at heart. Hunter up the inside. That is the Chevy Monza that we heard Brad talking about earlier. He's fighting with one of the Monaros. The 2 Mustangs behind him want to get on with it. Oh, that's a tough spot to be on the outside. Seaton knows he's there, so it gives him some room to move. Good racing. This is a long way back in the pack, though. These guys fighting for essentially 14th, 15th position.
Well, what's really surprising, well, not so much surprising, but what most people don't realise, Yilden's got a problem. Looks like it might have blown an engine. A lot of smoke coming off that car.
Oh, and Abel Neeson, Mediki contact, and around goes Gomersol. And evading the accident is the Shannon's car. Local yellows. Oh, no, not the Falcon. Oh, locked the rears, skidded along the fence, and that could have been a lot worse. That was a huge, huge moment. And Gomersol's creeping away from the scene. It's all happening down at turn 4, but thankfully, Wayne Mercer, the Victorian in that beautiful GDHO, didn't make any big contact with anything somehow.
Well, yeah, look, he's watching the car in front, trying to work out how he executes a pass. What's going on here?
The left front's come off.
Yeah, it's looked like it's broken a bottom arm or something, or the wheels come off it.
Well, there's no damage to any of the bodyworks. It's not like he's hit anything to cause that damage. That is just rotten luck, because he's having a great meeting so far, Brett Yilden. So the countdown continues, an hour 22 until the 200k race. I think there's about 3 or 4 accidents going on here. You've got this one to begin with, Abel Nisa and Mediki. You've got Yilden approaching slowly. There goes the I-6 Tirana. And then behind all of that, you then had Wayne Mercer as well with that massive moment. I think he's just seen everyone get on the brakes and he's jumped on them.
Yeah, I think so, and he's tried to maybe think about going down the inside, and Brett's been there, so he's locked the rears. Lisa just gets in a little bit too deep there. We see a bit of puff of smoke off the inside wheels where he's locked them up, and of course he's just run wide.
The poor camera had no idea where to look then. It was just all hell breaking loose. So there's the problems for Yilden. Looking in the mirrors, thinking, oh, this is a bad spot to be sitting. And he would have seen Mercer come flying towards him here. Watch the bottom of the screen.
Yeah,
oh.
He's just locked the rears. Good call.
How lucky was he to not run at the back of anyone in a big way there?
Oh, really do some damage to that car. He's just glided into the fence.
Oh, Mediki's off. No, he'd done all that work as well to get up to...
Now, his problem is, does he try and flick spin it or does he back it up? You know, problem with flick spinning a car that's out to the side there, if you do that, you could end up bogged in the sand. So he'll hopefully be able to back that thing up and get back on the track, but that's going to be very expensive for him.
Tell you what, the punters down at turn 4 getting their money's worth today.
He's just got in too deep. You can just see at the end there, it's locked the fronts, but he's trying to execute that pass around the outside on Eddie and just wasn't on.
Wayne Mercer heading back out there. Probably can't believe his lucky stars. We're halfway through the race, and Johnson holding a 1.1 second lead here. We've also got the Mustang in the background of John Talbot, who's facing the wrong way. I think he's just pulled that thing in after having some dramas. Only completed 2 laps.
And Stevie mentioned Wilson Security, who sponsored this car. They've been with John Bow for, you know, it seems forever, 5 years. They do a really great job supporting him, and John McMillan's usually down here floating around the pit somewhere, so I'm sure he'll be lurking around cheering on his car.
Andrew Fisher's been a bit missing in action this weekend, but at least in this race he's inside the top 10. He's actually 7th at the moment. Glenn Seaton's clawed his way up to 8th. And Bullis has made it as far as 11th at the moment. Here is Jim Richards now up to P5, just avoiding the dramas. His first time racing here since 1995, back when tobacco sponsorship used to adorn the sides of the doors on these cars.
And he's just got past Bill Pye, who's in that beautiful Camaro that's painted up like the one Bob Jane used to race and won the Australian Touring Car Championship in, and they're dicing for 4th place.
1971 and 1972 Australian Touring Car Championships, to be precise. The first one with the big 7-litre 427 motor. They banned it. They said, we're going to make you run a small block. He said, cool, I'll chuck that in, and he won it anyway. Bob Jane, an unbelievable peddler. We were having a chat yesterday, Dick Johnson and I, about the history behind that car. The fact that Bob, we're talking about here, bought the original 2 of them at the same time from America.
Yeah, that's right.
One to have his street car, one to have his race car. Look at the wipers flapping around on this car of Bill Pye's. Thankfully, that's not the original. The original's worth well and truly over $1 million US now. Very cool car, built for drag racing, but just seemed to be so well balanced. I reckon the weight shift in the car is actually almost spot on 50-50 in those things. Back to the front though, where Mustang Sally's pushing on for a perfect weekend. It's got McLeod up ahead. Needs to be careful with some approaching traffic, not to give Greg Crick any chance at a race win.
And he really doesn't have the sort of buffer that he's enjoyed the last couple of days. He's usually capable of pulling that out to his 2-second lead and sitting on it for the entire race distance. And as you said, we only need them to have a little bit of traffic here, and Greg Crick is going to be all over Stephen Johnson.
Paul Freeston in that Camaro laying down the power. Proud Chev man, he's raced some modern-day looking Corvettes as well. Some of our bigger endurance races around the country, but definitely at home within the NZ Touring Car Masters Series. This is that lead pack. Tilly in third, Richards fourth now. So what's happened here to Eddie Abel-Nisa? Had those issues, I know, earlier in the race, but I mean, he's fallen a long way back down to 17th now.
He's still out on the circuit, but he's gone a long way back, which I think would incite Andrew Madecki to ride, because he'd clearly been second, or sorry, third by now if he hadn't had that moment trying to pass Eddie.
So maybe that's caused him to go falling back through the pack and off the podium. So at the moment, it would be Johnson, Crick, and Tilly. The way they sit on the racetrack would be the way that they would essentially stand on the what would be podium.
And Bill Pye is certainly hanging on to Jim Richards here. He's not letting him wander too far away. You see Jim just drift what we got there on the track.
Ooh. You want to have a stab at this?
Yeah, I reckon it's a brake duct.
Okay.
And that wire that's running out of the back of the car is just that's what's left of the plastic part of it.
Good pick.
Yeah, and thank you. And the wire, he's just, he's torn it off. And I'd say he's probably torn it off when he's turned so much lock on the car. But what that's done is he doesn't have air onto the brakes much now. So the pedal will start to get spongy and long, and he won't be able to pull the car up. So he'll be wondering what's going on, because clearly he wouldn't see that bouncing around behind him. But he would know that his brakes are starting to go away a little bit, which isn't good news when you're trying to catch and pass people.
So it looks like Cameron Tilley is going to be getting third outright for the weekend, and also doing a good enough job to wrap up our Pro-Am class. Further back through the pack, I think it'll be maybe Tony Hunter who might take out our Pro Sports class, looking at the way it is at the moment.
And really, for Tilly to finish third, if you had said that to him before he came here this weekend, he wouldn't have believed it. It's a fantastic job to get that beautiful sounding pacer up into the top three.
So you would have thought this would have suited the six-cylinder so much, this place, but certainly doesn't seem to be short on power, even though it's short on cylinders. So this is the battle. Third, Cameron Tilley, Jim Richards fourth, Bill Pye in the Camaro, a pair of Camaros as a matter of fact, fifth and sixth. Very different styles though. They might look a bit similar, but definitely a different history between the two. Formidable orange colour that Bob Jane used to run on his cars, that orangey red colour. We've also got some debris flags down there at the turn 4 hairpin, just for a bit of extra spice. But it looks like at the moment Stephen Johnson doing enough to hang on. With nearly 1 lap to go, this battle for third continues. And Richard's just been keeping the Javelin out of trouble, and that's been his tactic to get to the front here.
Yeah, it almost looks like it doesn't stop as well as he would like. It looks like it's got plenty of horsepower, but he just looks like he brakes a fraction earlier, and that makes it hard when you're trying to pass people if you can't get up beside them. But Jimmy's been pretty smart with this. Started at the back, worked his way towards the front. P4, he'd have to be happy with that.
Oh, last time down towards the hairpin for Stephen Johnson. He gets the thing stopped and turned and back on the loud power. Crick's been chasing him, but just can't seem to reel him in.
Just slowly catching him, but he's going to run out of laps.
And a good drive either way here by Crick, and a good haul of points, which is important with John Bauer away. And bad weekends for the likes of our other championship guys like Andrew Medicki. This is going to be good news for Crick, who's really close to Mustang Sally at the last corner, but it's not going to be enough. Close, but close. He has run out of laps indeed, and Stephen Johnson will go 3 from 3. That is extremely impressive on debut.
Fantastic job by Stephen. The car looked to be moving around a little bit towards the end. Here's our dice for third.
It just goes to show that Stephen Johnson is still putting his best foot forward he wants to be on the grid at Bathurst this year. He's made no secrets of that.
Absolutely, and that's what he's doing driving this. You know, one, he gets an opportunity to stay in a race car. Two, he's doing it at a race meeting where all the teams that run V8 supercars are, and we all pay attention to what's going on around it. So Stevie's done a great job this weekend. He'd be pretty happy with that, and I think John Bowe would be receiving the text on that Sun Lounge in Fiji and going, woohoo.
Just over an hour until the big 200k race today. But in NZ Touring Car Masters, it's all about Stephen Johnson, rocking his dad's retro livery on the helmet too.
And really, this wouldn't be easy for him. He's done a great job to jump in that car and win.
Considering the last thing he raced at Adelaide was an R8 Ultra Audi, and he has just won that race by a slim 0.3 of a second. Cameron Tilley, first in our Pro-Am class and first across the line today in third as well, so an outright podium for him. Jim Richards, the wily old dog, comes home inside the top 5, his first visit here in 20 years in terms of race trim. He has done some work in the Targa Tasmania class here as well, with his 8 victories, I might mention, in Targa. Eddie Abel-Nisa, he was on for a podium there and a big haul of points too, but just let it slip away. Behind him, Andrew Miedeke, all the way back down in 19th as a result of the problems he was experiencing down at turn 4, and a couple of local guys towards the back.